Okay. There we go. We're recording this. I
We
see
have a question in the chat too, so I don't know if Cindy, you want to monitor those? You want me to help monitor those?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out Angela's because Angela, you do come up as Angela Emerson in my list.
Oh, in Zoom. Let me tell her how to change your name.
I think she's coming up right.
Yeah, she's coming up right.
It's coming up right.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know how to do it here. Settings. Settings. Can yeah. If any, I will tell everybody for us to learn. You know, here's the good thing about this. Like, all right, in Zoom, because Zoom is different from GoTo. In Zoom, you have in the bottom left-hand corner, you should see a microphone and a video. And there's a little caret next to the camera. And when you click on that, you can change your video settings. If you go into video settings, it actually brings you to all settings. And the all settings, you can start to mess with. Now, I have a little trick for everybody. So this, we haven't officially started yet, but if you are in your settings, Cindy, are you in your settings?
Yeah, I did. I went in.
Do you know the trick I'm going to say?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so.
All right, good. So if you are in the video settings, over to the right, you're going to see the camera. You're going to see my video. And then you're going to see 3 boxes down, touch up my appearance. If you put a check mark in there, it gets rid of all your blemishes. And it's like you had a facelift for free from Zoom.
That's funny.
So there you go, everybody.
All right. I hear that's it.
We can all look prettier.
Hey, Darryl, before we get started, can you make sure that Sarah is upgraded to an organizer so she can get the chat for us, please?
Thank you.
Gail is on as well.
Okay, let me.
We're here to help.
Promote to panelist. Okay, so now she's a panelist. Now I think, let me just see if I can change her to a host. Give me 1 second. So make a co-host. Do I need to make her a co-host? Yeah.
I'm not sure how we did it last time. I don't know. It looks like she's on the panel with us, so she should be able to grab it.
Is just if Sarah can glip you and make sure that she's good to go, like she can see everything, or because I'm afraid if I make her a co-host or something, that may change something, and I don't want to experiment with that now, right? Okay. All right, but I can go in there and make her a co-host. She's not listed as one, and neither are you, Julie. So I guess we'll just leave it the way it is. Okay.
She says she's good.
All right, good. All right, so Cindy, I guess it's time to get started. We have a bunch of people. Let's. I'm going to share the screen and go to this. And here we are. Go here. And all right. Good afternoon or good morning to everybody, wherever you are. Welcome to the weekly Cindy and Darryl show. For the ed directors. So we're going to go over a few things, make a few announcements. The first thing that I want to share is a little tip. I realize that some ed directors may not be aware of this, Cindy, so I thought I would just share with everybody. If there's any time on anything that any webinar you're on, or like this one right now, if there's something that you want to capture, instead of writing it down, if you just hit the print screen button on your keyboard, that will take a screenshot of exactly what's in front of you, and you can refer to it later. So that's a poor man's way of creating your own little workbook or notes easily and quickly. Second thing is, I just want to tell everybody here, you know, I was thinking about this, how everybody on this call is a real hero. Because Cindy, I don't know how you feel, but I'm really encouraged by the ed directors popping on these weekly calls. You know, when you and I came up with this, I didn't think that we would have the participation that we're having. So I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Right? It's been really beneficial, yeah?
Yes, it has. Very much so.
Especially the Facebook group too. And I want to tell you, we do have some new ed directors on the call, so I want to bring them up to speed. But here's what I was thinking. I want to share a plan from the experience that my company has been going through with the agents. And here's the plan. Because what's going to happen after, we're on these calls every week. We're concerned about virtual training. We're concerned about our membership, me reading a lot of the questions. So here's a few things. If your policy in your board or you personally is to encourage social distancing, keep up with that, because everything that we're hearing on the news is starting to show that it's working. And I think and believe that the sooner we can nip this virus, and the better we're all going to be. We'll be able to go back to our new normal, if you will. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, while every week in us brainstorming and working on our jobs and what we do for agents and training them, there's an opportunity for us as educators to get stronger in virtual training. I was saying to Cindy before I actually started, like, I'm paying more attention to our cameras, the lighting, how we're setting things up, our microphone. And I know I'm getting stronger as a speaker and trainer in this new real estate reality of virtual training. But there is a third step here. And the third part of the plan is that we're going to be able to go back to some kind of normalcy, where we're going to open up our training rooms again. We're going to have live events. So we need to start thinking about that in the near future. And when we want to bring the agents back into the classrooms, we've got to start thinking how we're going to do that. So we're not, just to start thinking about it. I have some awards, Cindy. I created the Dynamic Director Award for the week. And who gets that award is Mikhail Charwick, because from the Somerset Association of Realtors, Dillon, California. Your darn dog again, Cindy.
I know, I'm muting.
I got to tell you something. You got to get some medicine for that dog. There's a problem with the dog.
They've been stone cold silent all morning until now.
It's because he knows you're on this call, this webinar, and it wants your attention. The reason why I'm giving this to Mikhail is because, Julie, I didn't show you this, but she sent me this beautiful note. Cindy, this is to you and I. She just wanted to thank us for the work that we're doing every Tuesday. And anyway, so, oh, you got one too? Look it, boy, isn't she? Boy, well, you see what you can do when you're locked in your house? You have time to write notes. Anyway, that's beautiful. I thank you so much. I also have another award, to the Crazy Cat Executive Officer Award. That goes to Stephanie Sharp White from Mobile, Alabama, because she keeps posting these really funny cat things. And, I like cats quite a bit. And I just think it's hysterical. Stephanie keeps showing up in my feed of all this funny stuff. And it makes me laugh and smile every day. So thank you, Stephanie, for all that you're doing to put a smile on everybody's faces. Next thing is the weekly brainstorming session, our weekly brainstorming sessions. Cindy, we had talked about possibly changing the format every week so we could experiment with new platforms. And I was getting a lot of feedback from some loved the idea, but then some said, but wait a second, these weekly sessions are becoming so valuable. We didn't want to rob the value of the brainstorming because we're messing around with new technology. So I thought that was right. So I think the thing to do is to stick with Zoom the way we've been doing, because we're getting used to it. What do you think, Cindy? That's what I was wanting to ask you.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. Let's stick with the Zoom. It's where everybody's familiar to do, and then we can talk about some of the other formats. And if somebody else in the group is using a different format and knows it really well, we can always feature them for one of these sessions to talk about it.
That's awesome. As a matter of fact, let me see if it's the next slide. No, it's not. What I noticed too, Cindy, is on the Facebook closed group that we created for the ed directors, they've been using that as a platform to make announcements. Hey, I'm going to practice this new platform. And so I think that's a great model, that's how we should continue. We don't mess with this one. We use Facebook as announcements. And I love what you just said. If somebody's good at one other platform, we can have them take 15, 20 minutes on one of these calls to teach us on that platform. I do want to make an announcement. You all know that we were offering to do free webinars for your association. And there were 2 topics that you could choose from, one or the other: how to navigate through the new real estate reality, or the agent's guide to sanity in a socially distant world. Anyway, we have maxed out my schedule. So what we started to do is create group associations. Instead of doing it individual associations, we've picked these days. And so your association would be on with maybe 2 or 3 other associations. That way we can touch more lives and help more members. And so for those of you that are new to this call, there is the website at the top, New Training Reality. You'll see this screen. You'll pick whatever date you want and time, and you'll get a series of emails that'll tell you how we're going to serve you. There's also my personal cell if you have any questions, if it gets confusing. Hit print screen. Just a reminder, print screen right now, and that will help you with that website. All right, here's the next thing I'm going to share is Jane. Oh, this is what I meant. I'm out of order on my slides here. So this is what I mean. What Jane did in the Facebook group is she said, hey, I'm going to practice do a mock session with Zoom. I need you guys to help me out. So for those of you that are not members of Facebook that we created for the ed directors, there it is on the screen at the top, Facebook group. .com groups/ED Unite, Ed Directors Unite. So I love this. The participation has been huge on there. I have some suggestions. One of the things that we've learned, this is a screenshot of a webinar, Cindy. Every week I do with our students, our power agents, a weekly conference call, and then I also Zoom like behind the scenes. So that's like, everybody's on a telephone call, but we do a live feed to a closed group for our members. And I want you to see there for the comments, there's 193 comments in this just shy of 90-minute call that we did. We're getting a tremendous amount of participation in our Facebook group. So here's the suggestion I have. Number one is, if you have an association closed group, Facebook group, and you're doing any kind of thing that's with Zoom or GoToMeeting, any videos, you can maybe stream it. Well, I know with GoToMeeting you can't. With Zoom, you can stream. It's at the bottom of the screen when you start it. It says, go to Facebook and do a live feed. It helps with engagement and education to your members. So there's a thought tip. Here's another, I point this out. Like, for example, Sonia, she had posted something about Microsoft Teams. And whenever we post something, so a lot of you are given, this is in the Ed Director group, okay? So Sonia, she said, hey, listen, we're migrated to Microsoft Teams. And so a lot of you are commenting. And then I was anxious to see the answer, twists at the bottom there. Am I saying that right, Cindy? Twists? I know you got yourself. Okay. Okay. Well, let's just say that's what it says there on the screen. Anyway, she said, why did you leave Zoom? And I got to tell you, Sonia, I was anxious to hear the answer. So, you know, one of the things you want to do as a tip, if you ever post something to your members and you start to get feedback like we see here on the screen, it's good to engage also, like answer them back. You see what we are, the reason why we're getting, I'm going back, the reason why we get so much engagement in our Facebook closed group is because Julie is actually on the call with, she's answering all of the comments that people are asking, and she's engaging with our students. So that's just a tip that I have for you. You want to do that. The other thing is we started to ask, another tip for the boards, we started to ask our agents, our members, to post positive stories on video in our group, because a lot of the agents are worried, concerned about real estate, what's happening. So if there's any members you have that are actually listing and selling still in this new real estate reality, ask them if they would video a message about what they're producing, what just happened, that they just put something in contract, and here's how they're working their sphere. So use your members as mini trainers to record 5-10-minute videos to the rest of the members. That's just another tip for you. One other thing on this training thing, take a screenshot of this, please, darrylspeaks.com. we've upped our webinars to weekly webinars to all of the members and to anybody who wants to participate. These are free. So we have one tomorrow. Julie, what time is it tomorrow? It's noon Eastern time, I think, right?
Yes.
But if you go to that website, so I know the reason why I'm sharing this, I saw some ed directors actually share our link to their members. So I thought, oh, let me tell the rest of the ed directors. So this is another thing that you can offer your members. Somebody had asked us last week, Cindy, to post about this CARE Act for real estate, for everybody, but there's a lot of possible loans that real estate agents have access to through the CARE Act. So we had posted that to our members, but we also posted it now to the ed directors page. So I'm just letting everybody know it's now there and it's active, and those, whenever possible, there's a link to the actual government page. Okay, the last thing is, I do a screenshot. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This is a little off topic. What dawned on me, and I was talking to Julie about this, Cindy, is that we're talking a lot about the virus and a lot of people that are getting sick from it. And I've learned that the domestic violence has really gone up as far as the hotline, because there's people that are in a household that they used to get out of the house, away from the bad situation, the kids, the spouse, and now they're locked in with their abuser, right? So it's really horrific. And I'm now on a mission wherever I can. I'm just going to share this because to me, it just tears my heart. So that's that. Okay. With that said, we're going to jump to questions now. So these are the questions that you guys had filled in your, when you reserved the spot, and we're going to brainstorm it. Now, just a little, let me just go to one part here, Cindy, so I can see the attendees. There's a way to raise your hand. When you raise your hand, then, hang on, you say, I got to fix this. We'll be able to take you off mute. And I see that, so if anybody raises your hand, we'll be able to unmute you, and then we can hear you. So let's go to the first question. The first question was we're giving it to Mikkel because Cindy and I love her. She's our favorite person right now this week. If your state requires an attestation, Cindy, do you know what that is? Because that sounds like a medical procedure. I didn't know.
I don't know what I have no idea.
Okay, so Mikkel, if you're on the call, I have a feeling that okay, Kim, I'm going to unmute Kim, and so you can talk now, Kim, I think. Hang on. I don't know why it's so slow when we do this. So.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yep. So Kim Moriarty with Missouri Association of Realtors. The MREC does require an attestation form, and it's simply a form just stating that you send to the attendees prior to the meeting or webinar or class, whatever you're doing, and they are attesting that they will attend the class 100% of the time. So we developed one. It's just very simple. It just says I blank, attest that I will attend and then you put in the class, GRI, whatever, and 100% of the time, and they have to sign it. And so we are going to be using that along with other, we're going to try some polling, and then a couple other methods to verify attendance. But it's just one method of, there's really no way to monitor that. I mean, other than if you use a poll question or something else, but it's them attesting that they will attend 100%.
Got it. Now,
Mikkel's on the line too, by the way.
Good. Okay. So, and Julie, by the way, if anybody wants to answer, instead of raising your hand, writing it in the chat, Julie will try and read it for you. That's another option. Kim, if I can ask you, is Mikkel's question, or maybe Mikkel could clarify it, is the certificate, sending the certificate, part of the same as the question, or is that like two questions in one? You know
Well,
what I mean?
she's wanting to know logistically, how do you get those forms out and collected and everything? Because she says it is a ton, it's a ton of time sending that stuff out.
Right. So we are sending it at the time of registration. And then once, we haven't actually done this yet. It's at the end of the month. So, and requesting that they, you know, return it within 2 to 3 days or whatever. But another thought we had was maybe doing that as one of the poll questions is having the form, and then you know, those that fill it in. We haven't worked that out yet, obviously.
Verna Dugan does have, they require attestation. We will email the certificates after class after all of the attestations are sent back.
Yeah, that's one way we were going to do that too. We weren't, as soon as attendance has been verified by whatever method we're using, either the polling along with the attestation, you know, then we will send the email, we'll email the CE certificates.
Verna says Zoom also has attendance reports that tells you who's in class, who stayed the whole class, etc.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out, so I need to learn how to do those.
My question is, do you use any type of email campaign platform? Like we use Constant Contact. So I would just for me, I think I would just take the list of my attendees, merge it out of my Rapatoni, upload it into as a sending list to Constant Contact, create the email, have that form as a link in there that they get the email, they click the link, they fill it out, and then send it in. And then that would trigger me to then send the certificate. Yeah, it's still time consuming because you're going to spend time sending those out as you get them in. I don't know if there's a way to automate that once they send it in, that it automatically kicks back out to them.
Now, Cindy, Savannah, she did a whole session about the Google Forms. Is there a way to use the Google Forms and that technology to make it easy, which I think is what Matthew might be saying, Julie?
Yeah, Matthew, I think is saying to put a form on a page, like on your site that they can fill out. They can maybe have an auto respond, you know, like use a MailChimp or Constant Contact or whatever system you're using to automate that process.
That's true.
You still have to verify. You could put it on the site, but then you'd still have to verify, you know, who was there and who was not. But it might be easier than collecting forms if they're going into a web page and filling it out as a form on a page.
I just took Dana and Gail off of mute, so you guys can add something because I see you raised your hand.
Okay, this is Dana, and I did the Zoom for education, and so I've been literally playing with Zoom a lot. You can do polls, like we're going to actually do a class probably toward the end of the month, and then they're going to have an exam at the end, so that way we know that they've gotten the information, kind of thing. And then we're going to do the exam on Wufoo, send it to them. They have exactly 24 hours to get it done. And then I will close it, and then I will grade them that way. During Zoom, you can actually do polling, so you can keep track of everybody in the class, but no matter what, there's going to be an exam at the end. So that way I know that they have one attended or two got the information.
Good.
Gail, I took you off mute, and let's see. I'm not going to do this now. I was just going to try a poll right now, but I am not proficient at that, so I'm not going to do that with Zoom. But I can see that I can send out a poll right now. Gail, are you able to talk? Because you had your hand raised, so and I allowed you to talk, but I think you have to control it.
I'm going to tell you that Arthur responded, and he said if you use Google Classroom, an app is available via the G Suite. You can send them out to every student and even set a deadline to have it returned. You can upload the Google form or for them out.
See, I think the Google Forms and Docs, there's a lot of features there that we can really use. Gail, are you with us?
Yes.
And Kalea, I'm going to allow you to talk too. Go ahead, Gail, what do you got? By the way, for those, I'm sorry, let me introduce Gail. Gail works in my company. She's the director of events. And so go ahead, Gail, what do you got?
In the past with our certificates, I've used the simple mail merge on the Word documents. I load the certificate in, I mail merge their names, the class number, the date of the class, and it sends 100 of them out and emails them directly to them. I load their email addresses. So at the end of the class, when I verified that they're all there, it loads it straight through the Outlook. So as far as the certificates are concerned, that happens automatically.
Now, hang on. Which software are we using for that, Gail?
I use Outlook and a Word doc, and I do it through mail merge.
Microsoft Word.
Correct.
Okay. Kalea?
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good to hear your voices and see you guys. I had posted in our group something that we are launching called ABOR on Air. And we haven't, before I start name dropping a bunch of software, I just want to disclose we haven't had our first full class yet, but we're launching this week. So I'll let you know how it goes. But what we have built is a single sign-on system, which is an LMS platform that is overlaid over Zoom. So you have a Zoom experience, but because in Texas, we have to check IDs as part of the Texas Real Estate Commission. So you think, talk about logistical nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So the student can upload their ID side by side so we can see, they go into their waiting room and we can see it's them, and then they get entered into this platform that is a module-based platform. So it not only allows us to brand ABOR, so you can say, if you had an affiliate, just like a sponsor that, from a class that you were previously doing, so you'd have your sponsor speak, and then you'd welcome the student, and then the instructor comes on and begins the program. So they get the first module, they can access their handouts, materials, etc., that we can upload into the module. Then they hit next and they go through their program, the class with the instructor. Then their course evaluations are loaded in, and it's actual SurveyMonkey, but then it's automatically produced and the results kicked back to us. So it doesn't go to the instructor, it goes to the staff. And then final to that is their course certificate. So it's all built into this module-based learning that is essentially a learning management system that is overlaid on top of it. When the member logs into their class or logs into abor.com, that's how we differentiate between member and non-member. So right now, that was a big sticking point with us, is a lot of what we've seen is people launching Zoom classes, but then it just goes out to everybody. So the member pricing or member discount is lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to make sure, because we are offering free classes this month and next month, that is only offered to our members. So the member, non-member, and then again, as we move forward in the longevity of all of this, we wanted to make sure we could differentiate between member and non-member. So when a member logs into abor.com, they then get the member pricing, but then it's a single sign-on experience to their Zoom link. And it takes them right into the platform. So I will let you guys know how it goes. I'm praying for a smooth launch, but I think that this could be a really neat solution for all of us with regard to where all of this, the different components of our classes and modules live. So course evaluations, course certificates, testing also can live in this platform. So I will definitely keep you guys posted, but I would advise that some sort of learning management overlay is probably the way to go for the future of all of this.
People are asking what the overlay is. Is that a custom built, or is it like a standalone system?
We found an instructional designer here in Austin that has a real estate background, but we have an agency license to their learning management system, to their LMS. With that said, I would, if you are already working with an LMS system within your member management system and it's integrated or you have an API, I would call your LMS component and see if you can do a single sign-on experience with them, because I think that it's really, really helpful. But any LMS platform should be able to do this, I would imagine. We just found one locally that I think, you know, it's nice to have just kind of a warm body that's in our backyard. But if you are or know of a good LMS system or you're already working with one, I would definitely have this conversation about, like there's an icon that lives in the Clarity dashboard. So the student just clicks on it and they're off to the races. So it just on the back end creates a more seamless and professional experience for the student. And then it's all housed in one place. The other thing that we're going to test and that I'm super interested in doing is we can record and reuse as a repository for a learning library moving forward. So if I have, for example, Darryl, if you wanted to come and do a session, we would record you and then put it into our residual online library. And then it could be midnight and the student is getting a CE credit for a course.
Awesome.
That lives on ABOR, lives in their portal on ABOR.com. And then we are notified that they've taken that course. We see when they logged in, it time stamps when they finished the course.
Awesome.
And then we can send it off to the Real Estate Commission for approval. So that's our next step as far as creating a true vertical of learning education, but it's something that this platform can do. And so we haven't gone there yet, but I'm happy to talk through it once we start building that piece out as well.
And I just want to highlight what you just said, Kaleo, which is something we said at the very beginning of the call, is that, you know, if there's a silver lining with what we're all going through right now, it's that we're inventing new systems, new ways of running our what we do, and it's going to make us stronger. And I'm hearing that from what you're sharing. That's just awesome.
I definitely agree that we need to be thinking long-term. This is, for me, you know, a lot of our competitors in our, you know, the providers in our area, et cetera, they just, forgive my language, but threw some shit against the wall. And it's not the caliber that I expect out of our association, nor do our students expect. And so for me, I feel like you don't have to get there first, but you have to do it best. And I understand the angst that we are all going through with regard to education, and your board of directors is up your neck and breathing down your back and all of that, because I certainly am dealing with the same thing. But taking the extra time to really look through what your end game strategy is going to be, I think it's really important during this time. And I certainly don't mean to go down a rabbit hole with this, so you guys cut me off, but I do think that it's something that is important for us to be considering, because truly what it's going to end up being is when we go back to normal, you're going to have your online platform. So whether it's the CE Shop or Aceable Agent or whoever you're using, you're going to have your live classroom experience, but then you're going to have this virtual broadcast experience, and your members are going to expect it. And so unless we are building this out correctly now, you're going to be dealing with an administrative nightmare when you're trying to go back to doing live classes and a virtual classroom experience. So I just feel like, as you know, we are definitely all in this together, and I love this communication, this platform. So let's keep it up, and I'll certainly share what we're going through here in Austin as well.
Yeah, and this is why I put this back up on the screen, Kalea, because you just spoke to the very thing that I introduced at the beginning of the call, is about thinking long term. And here's our three-step plan. You know, so I think this was extremely helpful. We're going to jump to the next question. Thank you so much. So let's do that. And by the way, Cindy, for some reason, I feel like we had a Google Drive where we were going to dump ideas and links, and I can't seem to, do you remember me saying that? Did we create that, or did I say I was going to create that and I never did?
We do have that created. The link is in the group, but I can read that here in just a minute. as well.
So let me, while you're thinking that, making a note or doing that, everybody, especially the folks that are new, is we created a Google Drive where, like Kalea, she just shared a whole bunch of stuff, and we have, this is a place. The problem with Facebook groups is that things can get lost as people keep posting and things get pushed to the bottom. So the idea here with the Google Drive, just for you guys, is that if you have a software, you have an idea, a vendor, whatever. I saw a question about speakers. Let's put it in the Google Drive. So we're pooling there's hundreds of ed directors that are in this group now. And if everybody contributed one website, one platform, one whatever in that Google Drive, it would be awesome. It would be so valuable. So Cindy, I can't seem to find it. Cindy, when she finds it, she'll post it in this chat here, and we will post it also, Julie, in the Facebook closed group for everybody after the call. So I got an anonymous question. They wanted to be anonymous, Cindy. So it is from the Ed Directors Anonymous Association. And that question is, our executive committee doesn't feel like we need to offer our classes via webinar during the pandemic because there are online providers like the CE Shop or whatever. And are other education directors having similar issues where you're getting pushback, I guess, on you and doing more virtual stuff? Do you have any suggestions on how this can be more beneficial to the members if we're not offering webinar classes? Or what can we offer the webinar classes? Yeah.
No, you're not getting any more meatballs. You want applesauce?
Okay.
Somebody needs
I
to
want
be
some
muted.
more meat. I want some more meatballs.
No more meatballs.
Me
Wait a
too.
second. I think that was Kim. I forgot to put everybody back on mute. So
Use your school stomach.
Yeah.
Can't eat all day.
wait a second. Let me
But
fix that really quick.
yeah, I haven't had any pushback or trouble with that. But as an associate, where I would argue with them is, well, as an association, it's our job to serve our members.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we continue to serve them, especially in this critical time. And part of that is providing their education. If we allow them to go out to these other avenues, how do we bring them back to us when we're able to open up our live classroom again? We've got to stay relevant and informed.
That's a great point, Cindy. If a board doesn't make this available to the members will go somewhere else to find it, and it'll be even that much harder to bring them back into the family.
Cindy, that link doesn't seem to work on
That one's not working on that drive.
the Google Drive.
Okay.
Anybody else have suggestions? That was great what Cindy said. Are you getting any pushback? Raise your hand. I know some of you are loving the chat thing. If you want to talk, raise your hand in the Zoom, and I will take you off mute. Are any of you finding that pushback from any of the people on the board, and how are you dealing with that? Sorry.
Are they giving any reasoning? I guess it's
giving-
anonymous, so they don't want to. They don't want to say.
They don't want to say.
Yeah.
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 Well,
And
Cindy, I think what you said it would be the answer for our anonymous ed director is that to say the reason why we need to do this, there's a couple of things. This is a new real estate reality. So let me tell you something. It's like shooting fish in a pond, whatever that expression is. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
I don't fish. But here's what we know. What we're discovering in our business is our membership, and people pay for our membership, has gone up by 18% in the last 2 weeks. And the reason why I believe that is because the agents are more focused. Like, where are they? They're all online. You don't have to figure that one out. So, there is an opportunity. You have a captured audience. This is what anonymous ed director, I'd be telling the executive committee and the staff. Listen, they're all online. This is where they are right now. So it's easier for us to market to them, bring them into the family, get them participating in our association. We know where they are. They're sitting at home in front of their computers online. So we can't run from this. We've got to run towards this. This is an opportunity for us. And I can't echo enough what Cindy said. If we don't do it, they're going to go somewhere else, and then we can't get them back. All right, let's go to the
Yeah,
next.
yeah, they're saying that what they've messaged is that their board is basically saying, why reinvent the wheel? There's already online classes.
Oh,
It is all about staying relevant to your members. And when they question you at dues time every year, what are you doing for me for all this money I'm forking over? This right now is key in answering that question for them about what their dues dollars go to. So especially keeping them with their education, the quality education that you know you are providing to them in this time.
that's perfect, Cindy.
Yeah, Matthew says the education market is about to shift. Executive committee misses the moment, they'll lose the market share. O'Hara, providing classes via webinar only shows more value for the membership.
Mhm.
And I think something that you can also introduce that the other companies, CE people can't introduce is, again, asking some of the members who are having real estate success do little 5-minute teaching moments. I think that there's so many benefits to that. You're giving value to the members. You're getting them to participate with you, to be in partnership with you. It's validating your position and what you're doing and how you're coordinating it. You'll get less pushback. So, all right. Anything else on this? Cindy, Julie?
Well, Andrea says no pushback. I didn't get permission. I just pulled up my big girl britches and carried on. I don't have a choice. I'm so excited when I realize now. So it would take me so much longer to make a conversion to virtual because most people hate change. Virtual classrooms are filled to capacity and we've extended that capacity.
Right.
I like her a lot.
She must be from Texas. That's how they talk. That's how they talk in Texas. Pull up your britches. All right. Does anyone have
You're Mississippi. Thank you.
Mississippi? All right, just say that's that southern thing. You see, again, from New York. I don't know. All right, we talk different. Judy, my friend Judy. Hi, Judy. Love Judy from Sacramento. Does anyone have a speaker criteria contract for online trainers that they can share? This is a perfect example of this Google Drive, Cindy, on how powerful this will be. That does anybody have a speaker criteria you like to share verbally right now? Raise your hand. Or are you using a specific type of contract for online trainers? Just let's do a little verbal survey here. Anybody? Again, you can chat and we'll read it or raise your hand.
Yeah. Real quick while we're waiting for that, Mikkel had a great suggestion, and that was, oops, let me scroll back up, that to maybe tell the host local content that's not offered by the larger platforms. They're having huge success on that in terms of what you're offering. So local that's specific to your area, your market, as opposed to broader reach education. It's a great idea.
Great, that was great. All right, I'm not seeing any hands raising over here. Are you guys seeing any chat comments on the speaker criteria?
It's a no different contract. They have to go through training by me to be certified. Through this experience, we have over, can share with your board. That's not about this. So anybody have specific contracts? I just put one together. Dana says put one together for our convention, but we'll be using it for all instructors moving forward.
Great, Dana.
Tallahassee has its own contract and they require the members to take a class in this. We want to find a company to convert this into a virtual class, but I'm having a hard time finding a company to do this.
To do what? To go virtual with a live class?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's where they're going with theirs. Finding somebody to take theirs virtual for them.
By the way, Sarah found the link for the Google Drive. I'm putting it in the chat now.
Thank you. Put it in the chat, and also please put it in the Facebook group, Julie.
Thank you, Sarah.
That was Sarah. That's another person that works in my office. She's her title is head ringleader because it's like a circuit sometimes in my company. Any questions that don't get answered here, gang? Like if somebody's having a challenge setting up a virtual class like this that I just heard, just put it in the Facebook group. Maybe people comment, or just call me. I'm going to tell you something. Oh yeah, directors. If I don't have an answer, you call me. I will find it for you. I'll research it for you. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. And this is a long one. Laura from Scottsdale. Hi, Laura. Love Laura. Students are often not familiar with Zoom, and we're seeing issues with them being able to even turn on their camera. Sending out directions in advance is helpful, which, by the way, that's a great idea, Laura, but they are still not prepared. Well, it's because they're real estate agents. You got to love them. The instructor needs to take extra time before the class to make sure each person is involved. Thoughts? Great comment, statement, and question all in one. Anybody raise your hand if you have any thoughts on how to help some of your members who are finding challenges. All right, Matthew, you're able to talk now. Go ahead.
Hi there. Great session today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matthew.
There are some really wonderful recorded sessions on YouTube. I think one of them is called Zotto, Z-O-T-T-O. I got to double check that. Zotto Tech. And what you could do is you could put that in all of your registrations and say, like, basically, if you haven't used Zoom before, go, watch this recording on how to use Zoom. In fact, Zoom itself has, recordings on their YouTube channel. So what it could basically do is be like a pre-watch. So they could watch a 10-minute video or 15-minute video on the Zoom tools. And so basically, the student registers, they get back their confirmation, but it says if you've never used a Zoom before, go watch this link first. And this is not going to take away any time from the instructor at that point. It's up to the students to do the pre-watch, to be prepared to take the class. It's like asking the students to read a certain book or to read a certain case study or whatever it is beforehand. It's part of the learning. So that would be a way, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel at this point because Zoom has already done their videos, or lots of other people on YouTube have done how to attend a Zoom video. You just have to find one that you watch and that you trust.
Awesome.
On that note, real quick, when I was reading up on how Zoom is changing their policies and their platform for privacy purposes, I would definitely go to the Zoom. They've got great videos on there. Thanks, Matthew. It was a great idea, but I'm sure Zoom is going to be updating their tutorials based on the changes that they're making. So that's probably going to be the best resource for right now, as opposed to something that was even done a week or two ago, because the platform is going to be changing. So I would stay close to what Zoom has, and they do have really good tutorials, and use that.
We keep talking about Zoom. Any of the platforms probably has some tutorial video that they recorded. Robin, Beth, and Dana, you're able to talk now.
This is Robin. So I created a Google form and sent that out. It has 4 questions, and then it had instructions, which are use the Zoom test. And so when they go into the Zoom test, do you have video? Can you see yourself?
Nice.
And at the bottom question is, I don't really know what I'm doing. And then the next question is, can you hear yourself? And the last question on that one is, I don't know if this is working, so that I can target those people that really don't know. And
Robin, let me just get clear. This is a questionnaire that you created?
Yeah, but it's just 4 questions. It's a Google form that I'm sending out to all the people that are in my class on the 16th. Told them they have 2 days to get it done. Takes 5 minutes, probably takes 2 minutes. And then I have a week to deal with the people that are having trouble.
Wow.
Because we want it to be successful.
Yes.
We don't have a huge association, and our classes are limited to 36 no matter what.
Okay.
So at the most, I have 36 people that I'm working with for the 16th. So it's not a big task. I'm also doing, we're doing happy hours every Tuesday so people can practice. Every Tuesday at 4, I'm online at the same link so people can go try it out. And then I will do one-on-ones with anybody that asks.
So you serve alcohol with those happy hours?
It's self-service.
Self-service. I know you, Robin. You're off camera. You're like, all right, there we go, ready to go.
So we actually used to have happy hours anyway, like once a month. So I'm finding pictures as my backdrop from different establishments in town.
Oh, that's good. Yes, by the way, just to highlight what you said, Robin, in case people don't know, there's the ability to create a virtual backdrop if you wanted to. We're not going to teach that now, but in Zoom you could do that. I'm not a fan of it actually because it can be distracting. But anyway, that's awesome, Robin. Anything else on that?
Jane with Western Montana Association says their communication director put together a sheet, and it's in the resource. It's a page on their website for members to use. And Hernandez, who's with the Texas Association, says that they are sending student instructions is something that they have started to do as well.
Awesome. All right. And Beth, Dana?
Yeah, this is Beth. We actually we sent out a survey last week, basically just a bunch of questions about what you're comfortable with, what you're not. So our communications director took those questions and set up a resource page for us that's going out to all the attendees for our classes this month. We've put all our classes on starting on the 15th, are all virtual this month. And then we have a slide that we put on the screen for when they come in before the instructor starts. That is going to be just bullet points about what they need to do to remind them, hey, this is what you need to do. Make sure you're on mute, blah, 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 the whole list of things to do. And then I'm going to be a moderator, so the instructor will be able to just teach, and then the staff member will moderate. So if there are any questions or anything, myself or another staff member can help that individual if need be.
And I'm going to echo that, Beth. That's huge, having a moderator, because the webinars that I do, again, I'm doing them weekly, and I have Julie moderating, dealing with people's comments or questions, and then I have Sarah as a backup. That's awesome. Great suggestions, Beth. Thank you so much. Sarah, I know you're online. You got to be listening to this. I think we're going to make some changes over here. All right. And then Dana, what do you got?
Well, I did last week, I think on Thursday, I did Zoom training for education. And so they have all of these resources, and it was literally 45 minutes, me sitting here, and I have like 12 pages of notes. But on top of that, after it got done, they sent me a ton of resources on how to do a lot of different things, because it was a 45-minute, a lot of information. So you can actually go into Zoom and do a ton of training, and it's just like what we're doing here, like now. It's a live person. They come on, and you get to ask questions. You get to do all of that. There's an interaction. So, I mean, if like me, finally being able to put forward some of the virtual classes, this is going to give me an opportunity. So doing the Zoom online courses for myself, I'm learning how to do a lot of the things that, need to be done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, take advantage of those as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good. All right. So let me just lower everybody's hands. Let's go on to the next question. And by the way, Cindy and Julie, you guys keep interrupting me because I'm not looking at the chat. So if you see something, you guys have been doing good. I want you to keep doing that. Amanda Biffo, she said, for holding a class via Zoom, do you feel it is necessary to have the additional individual for administration of each class? We just talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really awesome if you can have a backup person for you as a co-host or behind the scenes dealing with the chatting. I can see Cindy, she's looking at everybody's comments, making sure everybody's taking, no, it's beautiful. This is, I see. So, because there's a lot going on. There's the chat. And
if it's possible, what works for us is that, like I handle questions and Sarah handles tech. So a lot of times if you've got two people, one that can handle somebody that goes, I don't know where my microphone is and that kind of thing. If it's possible to have two people, that really helps, because one can help moderate and ask questions of the speaker and answer questions where possible. And one person's just handling tech.
So have a tech person?
If possible, yeah. That really helps us, I know, in our groups.
Thanks, Jules. See, I don't even know, Cindy, what the heck's going on behind the scenes.
You don't know what we do.
They just tell Darryl, here's the camera, talk. That's it.
Jody wants to know, so as an ed director person, are you active during the class or listening? She has a 2-day destination course coming up and wondering what her involvement should be other than starting it. I would almost think that it depends on who your instructor is. Have they done this a lot? How well versed are they in it? And if not, if anything, reach out to someone else in your association that has that designation already and ask them if they would sit in and help moderate and handle questions, because they already have gotten that knowledge and they can as a resource. And it's a refresher of information for them. Have them do it at no cost. And it's a refresher of information for them while they help the instructor that you've got teaching it. But some of it will come on what's the expertise of the instructor you have teaching that. Have they done much virtual education before?
I know I said, by the way, Moji, Angela, I've got you. I've taken you off. You can talk. I'm just going to add this. Last week, I think we had said, Cindy, or maybe it was our first week, that we should audition a speaker. So the ed director maybe would be an audience member, and the speaker would be the speaker, obviously, and see how they do, see how their lighting is, see if they know how to look into the camera, if they know how to use the PowerPoint. And so we audition the speaker. All right, Moji, Angela, what do you guys got?
Hi, Darryl. Yeah, we've been doing live streaming classes now, well, since we started the epidemic. So designations are one of them. In fact, today we're finishing up the ABR designation, the 2-day. So I can really help with the monitoring. We've divided it up with our staff right now, but having actual volunteer members monitoring is something that we're looking forward to doing. And I've done 2 different instructors with this, one that requires some hand holding as far as monitoring the Q&A and the chat. And then I've had another instructor that totally took off and did the whole thing themselves. So it really does depend on what that instructor wants to do.
Okay. Awesome. Any other tips, being that you've run you've completed the 2-day or you're about to finish it?
We're finishing up the 2-day today, but we did SRS last week, so.
Okay. Any other things that you found useful in doing that?
You know, no, we've been using the Zoom platform. It's really worked out well, especially, you know, being able to have just like we're doing here, unmuting and having people participate, just like they were in a live classroom. It's been very helpful.
Awesome. Angela, awesome. Great stuff. Moji, am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Where's Angela from? People want to reach out to her.
Oh, Angela, I'm going to allow you to talk again. I'm sorry, Moji, 1 second. Angela, people want to reach out to you. So which association are you?
I'm with the Pinellas Realtor Organization in Clearwater, Florida.
Hey, she's in my backyard. Sorry.
You Florida girls. All right.
Well, I am originally, though, from Delaware. So I don't know if we have any Delaware peeps on, but.
That's maybe one person in the whole state. Angela, if you'll also shout out in the Facebook group so people will see your profile, they can friend you and chat with you, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Just mention about you doing the 2-day course online. That'd be great.
Will do.
All right, Angela, thank you so much. Angela Emerson. All right. And back to you, Moji.
Okay, so we have our professional development committee, and we decided not to get them involved at the beginning because it was new to staff and we had to set up a protocol of how we wanted to do the monitoring. So we figured out the way that we were going to do the monitor depending on the size of the class and what the class is actually. So we have staff members that do basically our computer classes. And then for our designation class, depending on how many people sign up, it could be a staff member, or this past week, we actually started doing Zoom monitor training for our committee members. So they actually are going to be rolling in and sitting in the class and monitoring, but we have it just based on how many people sign up. So
Okay.
if we have, you know, about a dozen or so, that only requires one person, they can assist with the chat. And my staff and I, we stay available via phone. If anyone's having any technical issue, they can still call us at our office numbers and we answer it, even though we're working remotely. And then when we have a larger class, so for example, we have an orientation coming up and we have 81 people in that class. So we actually will have 4 individuals doing the monitoring, but everyone has their specific roles. So then we're not double contacting members as we're monitoring those classes. So it kind of shifts for us a little bit.
You know, Moji, you just gave me a thought with what you're saying, you know, especially with a 2-day program that, you know, we have a 1-day event that we do once a year in my company in January. We have about 500 people show up. It's on Long Island. It's live. And we have an Excel spreadsheet and a Word docs that have so many checklists and systems, like who's in charge of what. You know, we designate positions with names of people. So I guess my point is that we should look at that the same way from a business standpoint, a system standpoint with these webinars. Just like a live event, there should probably be an Excel spreadsheet and say, all right, who's the volunteers? Who's the monitors? What's the deadlines by certain things? Getting copies of slides, all of that stuff, you know, because especially if we're not used to this and we're learning this, you know, we have an expression in our company about building the airplane while you're flying it. And some of us may feel like that in our departments with this new real estate reality. So the more you can systemize it, the easier it'll be on all of us. All right.
And we kind of do that. We have an administrative sheet for each class that we offer. And so that has, like, we pull from our database the basic information of our members, but we also have, you know, a row for, did we check ID? Was the person present or not? If we have any issue with people being off camera, or because we give them a warning, we email them and also mail them, because a lot of them are having access to that, and we also call them. Okay. So, you know, sometimes it's not that they need to be off camera. They just get a little bit comfortable in their seat and kind of, you know, their face starts, you know, slipping in with the comfort of how they're sitting, but we do notify them. And we have verbiage that we use to contact our members. So if they are not getting credit for whatever reason, we have verbiage that we can copy and paste, and that spreadsheet also lets us know who sent the, if it's only one person doing the class, it's easy, but when we have multiple people, it gives us a time of what information was sent, who sent it, was it via chat, did you follow up with email, did you do the phone? So if someone at the end comes to me and say, well, it's unfair that I didn't receive that credit, I have this spreadsheet that I can go to and say, well, at 12:15 and then at 12:30, and you received the phone call, and we emailed you, and we chatted you. Wow. So we have all of that.
Do you mind, like, sharing that document, that spreadsheet, in that Google Drive? Do you mind?
I don't mind at all.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much. I'll take care of you on the mute, so you don't have to worry about it. You know, by the way, that's another thing. Anything that you folks put into the Google Drive, I'm you know, put your name and contact in case somebody wants to reach out to you and have more questions about it. This is great stuff. Priscilla Toth, my fellow New Yorker, how do you handle audio issues with Zoom? So I think this is I don't know if Priscilla's on the call. Yes, you are. I see you, Priscilla, now. Priscilla, do you mean, yeah, allowed to talk. Go ahead, Priscilla. What do you got? I just want you to clarify, like, what do you mean with issues?
I don't know if it was just something odd because we were doing it on a Monday morning yesterday.
Okay.
But we've been having great success with Zoom.
Okay.
And all of a sudden yesterday, audio wasn't working, like individual participants' audio, our speakers' audio, the video wasn't working. The presenter was trying to show videos in her presentation. They weren't working. It seemed like everything was falling apart yesterday.
Okay.
It's a whole new day and everything went seamlessly today. But I was just wondering if people have experience when your participants are having audio problems or when your speaker's voice keeps breaking up, aside from the private chats, letting them know that, how you can compensate.
I see Matthew has an opinion has a suggestion on that. Let me go to allowed to talk. There you go, Matthew. You're up.
Yes.
I guess he's having audio problems. Go ahead. You there, Matt?
Yeah, I'm here. So a couple of quick thoughts, because we were having some big audio problems and they were persistent. So a couple of things. One is your speakers, they might have some really upgraded equipment, like for example, high-end microphones and stuff. And sometimes that pushes a lot of bandwidth up and we actually had to downgrade our mic. So from using a big Yeti mic, we just started using the mics that are built right into our high def cameras, only because we were overwhelming our stream because we also had a high def camera. And that was causing some glitches there. The other thing that we did, and this might be something to do wherever this session is being hosted, is, take a look at your routers, because you may have like a router that has served you well in the past for some small chats and things like that. But, with everyone being at home, if your instructors are at home and they have some kids and the spouse who's also online or whatever, there might be a lot of bandwidth being used. So what I did this weekend was I actually bought a new router that allows me to control something called the quality of service. So I can identify each device on my network and say, give it more priority and give other things less priority, so that if I'm teaching, my Mac gets like 50% priority, whereas all the smartwatches and Alexa and everything else in my office goes down to 2% priority. So it might have just been a bad day on Zoom, but also what's happening with all this awesome technology is that some of our other equipment might need to, like before that, my router was an Apple Airport that was like 4 years old. It was fine until I started to really have to do heavy transmission lifting on a regular basis. So you might want to just do a little tech survey throughout your entire infrastructure. And then also for your instructors who are teaching from home, say to them, listen, if you are going to be teaching, could you maybe tell other people in your home during that time to pick up a book and not be streaming Netflix on 5 different devices, because you'll come across choppy.
That's great, Matthew. That was some great stuff. You know what, Matthew? You know what you should do, because I know you're strong with the tech too. You should create a document of a checklist of making sure you're ready for a live webinar, tech checklist, and we'll throw it in that Google Drive. All right.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, Matthew.
I had Burton Kelso do a couple webinars for my members the last couple weeks, and somebody had piped up, yeah, it can be a bandwidth issue. You can tell your instructors, there is a website called speedtest.net, and it will tell you how you're doing on your bandwidth and usage out of what you should have available. So they can always test and check how they're doing on that and whether they're up to snuff, or maybe they need to be looking at some adjustments.
That's wonderful advice. And I think you, both of you, and I think on our last call, you mentioned too, the green screen or background can also impact bandwidth. So thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla. All right. So let's go on to the next question. From Stephanie Talbot at Sussex County Association of Realtors. Has anyone had to get Arello's certification for CE classes? Seems quite involved for a 3-hour CE course. I have no idea what that question means.
I looked at that, since our commission here in Kansas is not doing anything to make any allowances. Yeah, I don't know about how intensive. I just looked at the fees and said, heck no, because to get one class approved is $865. I'm not spending $865 to get something certified for Arello. I'm just not. My association would kill me if I tried to do that. How many classes do we want to teach at this time? I have 4 this month. I can't afford that.
Stephanie, I took you off mute.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we have to, according to the Delaware Real Estate Commission, anything we want to do distance learning has to be Arello certified. And Cindy, I feel your pain, because when I looked at that, $865 for one class and then $400 and something for every subsequent class. We're not a really large organization. Hi, Angela Emerson. And she used to be at my board.
And you're from Delaware?
I'm from well, yes, I
All right, I'm
work at
sorry I
the,
made that Delaware joke. That's all I want to say, Stephanie. Sorry.
yeah, too late, Darryl, I already got it.
Go ahead.
One person from Delaware, probably, you're probably right. It's just, it's so time consuming. It would take us months to achieve this, and we don't do any distance learning because of that requirement. So I kind of feel like the kindergartner who's gone to college classes here, because everybody is so much further along than we. But this is something that was on our list as a goal for this year, but the cost, and you have to have Arello certified instructors, which is IDECC. And when I checked their website, there's one in Delaware right now.
Wow. Yeah, that is a tough one. Ouch.
All right. Well, I guess, Stephanie, we're just going to pray for you.
Thank you, Darryl, very much.
Yeah, I hate to say in that circumstance, I think I'd give up on trying to do CE and try and figure out what all non-CE education and things I can do for them.
That's a great idea, Cindy. Yeah, maybe if that's what it is, you just got to move off the CE aspect. All right, we've got now, listen.
Hang on, Darryl, real quick. I'm going to answer. There was a question, why do you have to have distance education if the class is live? Deborah, because that's how my commission's rules and regs state. Anything that is not live in person, where you're in the same room with the instructor, is considered distance education. So it goes through a whole different animal of what you can do. They want me to resubmit the class, repay a fee, basically like we are, but also administer a 30-question exam at the end that they have to pass at 90% to get the CE credit. Crazy, but that's what it is.
Now, Dana, Trisha, and Kristen asking about different platforms for virtual classes or teleconference besides Zoom. I want to say something, and then I'm going to say two things. Hang on. I want to remind you all that what we did is wherever that this is this it here? Yeah, Coronavirus Resource Hub for Education Directors. That's at the darrylspeaks.com, new training reality. On this page, we put resources for virtual online training, and we put training platforms. So you've got apps for virtual delivery like GoToMeeting, Zoom, Then there's some higher end stuff, GoToTraining. So we put this here for you. But what I think we should do, Julie, is in that Google Doc, Cindy, that everybody's going to have access to, we should create a little something where people can throw in, all right, because there may be a platform that we did not discover or research that's on the screen right now, and somebody knows something else, which obviously I want to hear it now. But as the weeks progress, as you start to do platforms and try different things, you can comment in the Google Drive saying, yeah, listen, we tried this Learn Cube and it's horrible. Don't use it, So that, I think we should do that. But let me go to you guys. So does anybody have suggestions on other platforms? Raise your hand. Is that you, Stephanie, or is that from before? Allowed to talk. Stephanie, do you have something, or is that an old hand?
Nope, that was an old hand. You can put it back in my pocket.
Okay. That sounded so bizarre. All right. So I love it. Okay. Raise your hand if you have, or write a comment in the chat about other platforms other than Zoom that you're using, that you've tried, you have an opinion about. Sounds like Kalea, she's, creating a whole new thing at her board. Anybody? So is everybody just using Zoom? Come on. Are we reading chats here? Anybody?
Well, yeah, I don't know who's using what. I do know like Brent Lancaster as an instructor uses Adobe Connect. He does do Zoom, but he prefers Adobe Connect. So he is an instructor out of Louisiana. He'd be a great person. He's always willing to share information. You could contact him, again, Brent Lancaster. You can find him on Facebook, or shoot me a message and I'll share his email, and you can reach out to him to learn more about Adobe Connect.
And I will tell you, Cindy, when we were looking at this, because the resource page that we created for you guys, we spent quite a bit of time trying to research as best as we could. I was super impressed with Adobe Connect. It looks like it has a tremendous amount of features, more than any of them. And but it looks like because of that, there's also a learning curve. So, okay, well, going on to the next question then. How do you prioritize your content? Let me see if Kelsey's on the call with us because I am not clear. No, I don't see her here. Or is that her? Kelsey, are you on the call? Raise your hand, Kelsey Croston from Richmond, because I'm not clear on this question. How do you prioritize your content? Does that mean as an ed director, your calendar, or does that mean the content of the actual webinar? So it wasn't clear. Is Kelsey with us?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't see her in the group today.
Julie, you had something?
No, I was just going to say I don't see her. We do have a question in the Q&A panel.
All right, let's jump to that question. What do you got?
What add-ons or plugins are others using to supplement the Zoom experience?
I didn't know they had plugins.
I don't know that either.
Does anybody know that Zoom has plugins?
I didn't.
Maybe that's the question. Okay. Doesn't seem like anybody knows. All right, let's continue on. Next question is Aisha Kishta from MyBoard. What is the best way to track, verify attendance through online classes, webinars, in Zoom? I know this has come up a few times, but let's just do it. Yeah.
I was going to say, there were some people that I'd have to back up in the conversation that we had today that had hyped up about that already, about that there are reports that you can print out.
They have attendance reports and whether somebody stayed the whole time. They were talking about that. I know some, not on this call, but on, believe the last call, they were talking about doing screenshots. There are different overlays where you're taking people's pictures. Last time somebody said they had a pre-Zoom call where the person had to verify, like show their license, that kind of thing.
I know that Gail, what she, from my office, I forget which state it was, Gail, Jersey was it? Or I think it was Jersey, that we had to use the Zoom GoToMeeting, not the webinar, because the meeting, everybody's camera is on and everybody's on the screen, and the most you can have on the screen is 49 people, meaning you would have a class of 48 because you have the instructor. And then the state could see a recorded video of the entire class based on people's faces on the screen. So that was their solution. Okay, anybody else? What is the best way to do attendance?
Robinson uses an attendance report in a Google Drive, but it's something you should play with. It's not very straightforward. Download a report to a CSV file that shows the numbers of minutes that a learner attended. I can't remember how to get there. That's right, it does do that. GoToMeeting does that as well. It'll tell you how long people were on the line.
Yeah, and I know some associations are making it a requirement that they have to use video. They have to be able to see the student if they're going to get CE credit.
Cindy, let me ask you a question, because you said your state is still being strong about not doing CE online, right?
Well, they're about not making any adjustments for live stream.
Okay.
They want to consider it to be just like traditional online, go self-guided class.
Now, when was the last time you asked?
Last week.
Okay.
And all they got, the only answer I know that a fellow association in this state got back for an answer is, here's the procedure. It has to be, it needs to go just like distance, the traditional distance education. We can't make any decisions about that. That would be up to the governor.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Because I know some states, they said no at the beginning of this virus, and now they're saying yes, as far as being flexible, and in some cases it's temporary.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I was just asking for even just temporarily due to this.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating because I know other states, their commissions have seemed to on their own been able to make that judgment call.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think, was it Florida, I think, was meeting yesterday to make allowances. I don't know who in here is from Florida, but I thought I saw something where their commission was meeting yesterday to make allowances.
Sharon, I don't know if she's on the call here. I just saw her
She
hand
had-
raised.
Yeah, she had trouble getting on, but
Florida passed it today.
Say again?
Michelle tells us Florida's was today and they passed it.
Oh, good.
They have made a 90-day, like a 90-day temporary stay on those rules. So emergency rule today for 90 days. That's good.
So happy because Sharon, I know, is upset about Florida. Michelle, I'm going to take you off mute. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hey, so for Florida, yeah, they met today. And basically what they're going to allow us to do for 90 days is that we will, any classes that were previously approved for live instruction and class instruction can be delivered via webinar or live streaming of some sort, you know, using a platform that's acceptable. But the instructor and or a monitor has to be able to monitor the class for attendance.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, congratulations with that.
Yeah, see, in our commission, our executive director says it's not the commission's decision. That would be something for the governor to do because it's statutes. It's a part of the laws that govern. So I don't know if I just need to start reaching out and trying to get a hold of the governor going, hey.
Yeah.
Other governors are making you look bad, just saying.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, you could, Sydney, every time a state makes an exception like Florida just did, we'll send them an email saying, by the way, the Florida governor has got, yeah, they just said yes. Maybe you'll guilt them. So speaking of Florida, Sharon, the state ed director there, how do we help small local boards that do not have the finances or the staff capability to get their own live stream platform? So does anybody have any suggestion? I think, you know, I wanted to put this question up, but I think just with some of the platforms like GoToWebinar and Zoom, it's not costly to start, you know, and now with, I know Zoom, it's free, but you only can do 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, you've got to refresh. So that's a pain, but it's like $15 a month.
$15, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I wanted to let Sharon at least give it a question there, but it's, I don't think it's expensive to do live streaming. You know, you have, you can use your iPhone. There's really low ways to do it, low cost ways to do it. So if they can't show houses, what can realtors be doing other than online classes and working on their CTOX? From Beth in Morgan County. So I really like this question because of the concern of what do we just tell agents on how to run their business? Because this is what we do, my company. And but does anybody have any suggestions? What are you telling realtors if they're under house arrest, so to speak? They shouldn't be out doing open houses, showing properties, etc. What should they be doing? I mean, I could talk about this for an hour because that's one of our webinars, but I'm not going to do that. So does anybody have any suggestions? Anything in the chat, Julie or Cindy?
No.
I am getting into a webinar on Monday about getting started with podcasts, like what you need, stuff, because I thought podcasts might be another new, different avenue for us educating and doing something neat and fun for our members, other than just doing their CE classes. And I can share a link to that event if you guys would like.
You know, that'd be great, Cindy. Just real quick, just so we have an answer for this. Again, I'm not going to do my whole webinar with this now because we've got 7 minutes left. But real quick, a few things conceptually, what we can tell agents is this is the time to work on their business, not work in it. That there's probably a list of things that they've been meaning to get to. You know, for example, I wish I had the time to work on my CRM and putting my contacts in there and learning my CRM software. there's one example of what agents can be doing at home. Getting more organized, learning a new technology, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I'm not going to go through my whole webinar,
Yeah.
but that's what we can be telling our agents. Here's one thing you can say to all of them. Make a list of all the things you've been meaning to get to for the past several years and you never had the time to do it. And there's your to-do list.
Yeah, you could work on your CRM. If you don't have a CRM, research and get a CRM. I know that I saw that there's some agents out there, which is a great idea. Go through your CRM, go through that list of contacts, call them personally, just say, hey, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing in this situation. Is there anything that you know, are you okay? Is there something that I could deliver to your doorstep if you need it? Just making those little touches to their clients is a good thing to do.
Yeah, the sphere of influence has to be a priority right now for them.
Cindy, the webinar we're doing tomorrow, we have, how many people do we have reserved, Julie, for tomorrow?
I think we're right around 2,000.
So tomorrow we're doing a webinar on how to use a CRM in real estate for agents. Because what you just said, Cindy, this is the perfect time for them to input their contact records, learn the mail merge feature, how to use social media and your CRM together as a prospecting tool. You know, what agents need to be doing right now is to still keep their name, face, and what they do for a living out in the world. And that should be their focus. And there's a way to do that from the comfort of their homes. Kathy Johnson from Tehama County. How do you break the resistance to change for the older members? I thought of 3 jokes and they're all not appropriate. They're all not appropriate, so I won't say them.
Oh, but you do have a good, I mean, we just talked about that on the coaching call, the fear of change, you know, don't let fear have you. So I think that would be something they could share that with them.
Yeah, there's been, if we look at our industry, there's always been moments where something new came to the industry and realtors would get freaked out by it. iBuyer was one of those. When Zillow came to market, does anybody remember when we were taking our MLS information and putting it out on the internet and how that was going to destroy our industry? So if we look back to history, there's always been these moments that were of great change and agents freaked out thinking, no, that's going to be the death of us. And in reality, it was those moments that made us a stronger industry for buyers and sellers. So we're at it again. This is going to make our industry stronger on so many levels, and we have to embrace that and look for it. So that was the short version of what I said. Oh, I'm at the end of the slides. We got through all the questions. Well, that's first.
We did have a couple asked in the beginning of our show today.
Yeah, let's go to those. Oh, and I see Jordan. Let me take Jordan off hold. So okay. Jordan, you're off hold. You can talk.
I just wanted to answer the last question about the resistance to change. Okay. I think part of it is just remembering that we aren't going to be like this forever. And so even though some of those people are resistant to change, it's okay for them to be. I'm in Massachusetts and our governor has allowed for a 90-day grace period following when we can get back to normal life for license renewals. So people who are currently in the window that they need to renew in the next couple of months have a little bit of extra time. So staying in front of them that in-person classes will be coming back and they don't have to go to online avenues at this time just because this is where we're at. If they want to wait, we'll still be here for them when they can come back.
Yeah, and Jordan, to echo that a little bit, what you said there is that because there's also the fear that that we're not going to go back to some normalcy, and I think when we're able to do live training again and showings again and we're going to see a surge of activity, like movie theaters. I don't know where we are in movie theaters nationally, but I know in New York, right? They've been shut down. And I know when we can go back out into the world, people are going to run to the movie theaters. And so nothing's going to ever replace the live experience on any level, whether it's showing real estate, whether it's attending workshops. So anyway, thanks for that. All right. Cindy, is there something pressing, or because we're at
the time? Well, the one said if doing a meeting that requires a registration in Zoom, can you add a document that they need to acknowledge as they're getting registered, which I think kind of goes back maybe a little bit towards that initial question about those attestaments. But the other one was somebody would like us to go over settings, that they're struggling with the account manager and then staff use, instructions for learners, kind of, I don't know, maybe a cheat sheet, but I know that Zoom has a lot of really great webinars. or videos. I keep looking at those for myself.
I do want to jump in and say Judy has a great idea for some of the resistance, especially for the older members. And she says maybe have a video of various older members explaining how beneficial it has been to learn new technology and give them the resources for doing so. That's a great idea, Judy.
Who said that? Judy?
Judy.
My Judy from California, Judy?
Judy.
Yep.
Yep, that's Judy. Yeah.
Yes.
Love Judy. That's a great suggestion, Judy. All right, so gang, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna have our call next Tuesday. We'll send you a link. By the way, I do want to say something, Cindy. I was thinking of giving one same link for these Zoom calls, like people don't have to register. And then I changed my mind because I was concerned about the security of this whole hacking thing that's been happening. So for right now, we still have to every week have the ed directors go to that page. What's that page? Hang on a second. Let me go to it. Hang on. This is where you have to go to register for the next one. Don't do it now because we didn't set it up. But this is educationdirectorsunite.com. So tomorrow we'll open that up for next week's call. Please get your Zoom link at that page. And, we'll keep going with this. And we're going to, I think this is really helpful. I really appreciate everybody's participation and sharing. You guys are wonderful. And Cindy, before I say my last thing, is there anything you want to say? No? But everybody, let's applaud Cindy. Yay! I know we can't hear you, but applaud anyway. And so here's the last thing I'm going to say. You guys, we believe you are the most important in the industry. And the reason why is because your members are coming to you looking for help and guidance. And it's a ripple effect, like throwing a rock in a pond. It has a ripple. That's you. Everything that you do and you help your members, then they help their buyers and their sellers. You're on the front line. You, through what you do, are touching millions and millions of people's lives. That's the ripple effect that you have. And it's an honor for me to work with you to help you through this time so we can be better at making a difference in those lives. My staff, thank you very much. Cindy, you're the best. Love you very much. And I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. I don't know. That was funny. I don't know how to end this. I can't find the end button. Oh, there it is. Okay. Bye, Cindy.